Question 1. Which ancient civilization built a wall across northern Britain to defend against tribes like the Picts? A. Romans, B. Vikings, C. Normans, D. Anglo-Saxons. Answers is A. Romans. The Romans built Hadrian's Wall across northern England to mark the northern frontier of their empire and protect against tribes like the Picts. Question 2. What was the name of the system of law and land ownership introduced by the Normans after 1066? A. Feudalism, B. Democracy, C. Socialism, D. Monarchism. Answers is A. Feudalism. After the Norman conquest in 1066, William the Conqueror introduced the feudal system, where land was granted in exchange for military service and loyalty. Question 3. Who was the first King of England to be crowned in Westminster Abbey? A. William I. B. Alfred the Great, C. Henry D. King John. Answers is A. William I. William the Conqueror William I was the first King of England crowned in Westminster Abbey on Christmas Day, 1066. Question 4. From which region did the Anglo-Saxons mainly come to Britain? A. Northern Europe, B. Southern Europe, C. Eastern Europe, D. North Africa. Answers is A. Northern Europe. The Anglo-Saxons came from Northern Europe, specifically Germany, Denmark and the Netherlands, settling in Britain after the Romans left. Question 5. What significant document signed in 1215 limited the power of the king and protected the rights of the nobility? A. Magna, B. Bill of Rights, C. Petition of Right, D. Act of Union. Answers is A. Magna. King John was forced to sign the Magna in 1215, which established the principle that everyone, including the king, was subject to the law. Question 6. Which monarch established the Church of England, separating it from the authority of the Pope? A. Henry, B. Elizabeth I. C. Charles I. D. James I. Answers is A. Henry. Henry established the Church of England in the century when the Pope refused to annul his marriage. Question 7. During whose reign did the Spanish Armada attempt to invade England? A. Elizabeth I. B. Mary I. C. Victoria D. James. Answers is A. Elizabeth I. The Spanish Armada attempted to invade England in 1588 during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, but was defeated. Question 8. What was the main cause of the English Civil War in the century? A. Conflict between Parliament and the King, B. Religious differences between Catholics and Protestants, C. Disputes over trade routes, D. Invasion by a foreign power. Answers is A. Conflict between Parliament and the King. The English Civil War was primarily a conflict between Parliament and King Charles I over political and religious issues. Question 9. Who was the leader of the parliamentarians during the English Civil War? A. Oliver, B. King Charles I. C. James, D. William of Orange. Answers is A. Oliver. Oliver led the parliamentarian forces, known as the Roundheads, during the English Civil War. Question 10. Which major event led to the Glorious Revolution in 1688? A. The overthrow of James. B. The restoration of the monarchy. C. The execution of Charles I. D. The signing of Magna. Answers is A. The overthrow of James. The Glorious Revolution in 1688 saw James overthrown, and by William of Orange and Merry, solidifying Parliament's power. Question 11. What significant document passed in 1689 further limited the power of the monarch and established the rights of Parliament? A. The Bill of Rights. B. The Act of Union. C. The Corpus Act. D. The Reform Act. Answers is A. The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights of 1689 established Parliament's supremacy over the monarch, setting out basic civil rights. Question 12. What was the main impact of the Industrial Revolution on British society? A. Growth of factories. B. Decline of trade and commerce. C. Increase in rural population. D. Return to feudal system. Answers is A. Growth of factories. The Industrial Revolution led to massive shifts in population from rural areas to urban centres, driving the growth of factory production. Question 13. Which Scottish engineer is famous for significantly improving the steam engine? A. James Watt. B. George. C. Kingdom. D. Richard. Answers is A. James Watt. James Watt's improvements to the steam engine were crucial to the Industrial Revolution, making it more efficient and versatile. Question 14. In which century did the Industrial Revolution largely take place in Britain? A and B and C and D and. Answers is A and. The Industrial Revolution in Britain primarily occurred during the late and leading to profound economic and social changes. Question 15. What major global conflict began in 1914? A. The First World War. B. The Second World War. C. The Crimean War. D. The Wars. Answers is A. The First World War. The First World War began in 1914 and involved major global powers, lasting until 1918. Question 16. Who was Prime Minister of the during most of the Second World War? A. Churchill. B. Chamberlain. C. Clement. D. Herald. Answers is A. Churchill. Churchill served as Prime Minister from 1940 to 1945, leading Britain through the majority of the Second World War. Question 17. When did D-Day, the Allied invasion of Normandy, take place? A. June 1944. B. May 1940. C. September 1939. D. August 1945. Answers is A. June 1944. D-Day, the largest seaborne invasion in history, occurred on 6 June 1944, marking a crucial turning point in World War. Question 18. Which important social welfare institution was established in 1948 in the A. The National Health Service, B. The National Trust, D. The British Museum. Answers is A. The National Health Service. The National Health Service was launched in 1948, providing free healthcare to all citizens at the point of use. Question 19. What was the main reason for significant immigration in the period? A. Labour shortages and reconstruction. B. Political asylum from conflict. C. Economic depression in other. D. Religious persecution. Answers is A. Labour shortages and reconstruction. After World War, they needed workers for reconstruction and to fill labour shortages, leading to immigration from Commonwealth. Question 20. What is the official title of the current head of state in the A. His Majesty the King, B. the Prime Minister, C. the Lord Speaker, D. the President? Answers is A. His Majesty the King. There is a constitutional monarchy, and the current head of state is His Majesty King Charles. Question 21. Who is responsible for the day-to-day running of the government? A. The Prime Minister, B. the Monarch, C. the Speaker of the House of Commons, D. the Lord Chief Justice. Answers is A. The Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, as leader of the government, is responsible for the daily administration and policy decisions of the. Question 22. Which part of the Parliament consists of elected members of Parliament? A. The House of Commons, B. the House of Lords, C. the Privy Council, D. the Cabinet. Answers is A. The House of Commons. The House of Commons is the democratically elected chamber of the Parliament, where represent there. Question 23. What are the three devolved administrations in the A. Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, B. England, Scotland and Wales, C. London, Manchester and D. Isle of Man, Jersey and Guernsey? Answers is A. Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. There has devolved governments in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, which have powers to make laws on certain matters. Question 24. At what age are citizens eligible to vote in general elections? A. 18, B. 16, C. 21, D. 25. Answers is A. 18. In the, citizens must be 18 years old or over to vote in general elections and local elections. Question 25. What is one key responsibility of a citizen? A. Obeying the law, B. Joining the armed forces, C. Attending religious services, D. Learning a new language. Answers is A. Obeying the law. A fundamental responsibility of all residents and citizens in the is to obey the law. Question 26. What is the capital city of England? A. London, B. Edinburgh, C. Cardiff, D. Belfast. Answers is A. London. London is the capital and largest city of England and the United Kingdom. Question 27. Which body is responsible for making laws for the whole of the A. The Parliament, B. the Scottish Parliament, C. the Welsh Senedd, D. the Northern Ireland Assembly? Answers is A. The Parliament. The Parliament in Westminster, London, has ultimate authority to make laws for the entire United Kingdom. Question 28. What is the name of the highest mountain in Wales? A. Snowdon, B. Ben Nevis, C. Pike, D. Mount. Answers is A. Snowdon. Snowdon is the highest mountain in Wales, in National Park. Question 29. Which river flows through London? A. Thames, B. Severn, C. Mersey, D. Tyne. Answers is A. Thames. The River Thames is the longest river entirely in England and flows through the heart of London. Question 30. What is the capital city of Scotland? A. Edinburgh, B. Glasgow, C. Aberdeen, D. Dundee. Answers is A. Edinburgh. Edinburgh is the historic capital city of Scotland and home to the Scottish Parliament. Question 31. Which sport is considered the national summer sport? A. Cricket, B. Football, C. Rugby, D. Tennis. Answers is A. Cricket. Cricket is widely regarded as England's national summer sport, with a long and rich history. Question 32. Who is a famous British playwright known for works such as Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet? A. William Shakespeare, B. Charles Dickens, C. Jane, D. George. Answers is A. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is universally regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. Question 33. What is the traditional British dish consisting of battered fish and chips? A. Fish and chips, B. Sunday roast, C. And mash, D. Shepherd's pie. Answers is A. Fish and chips. Fish and chips is a popular takeaway food in the consisting of battered fish and potato chips. Question 34. What is the common name for the bank holiday on the last Monday of August? A. Summer bank holiday, B. Early May bank holiday, C. Spring bank holiday, D. Good Friday. Answers is A. Summer bank holiday. The summer bank holiday is observed across typically on the last Monday of August, providing a long weekend. Question 35. Who wrote Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility? A. Jane, B. C. Virginia Woolf, D. Christie. Answers is A. Jane. Jane is one of the most celebrated English novelists, known for her works of romantic fiction, including Pride and Prejudice. Question 36. What is the British tradition of afternoon tea typically served with? A. Scones, jam and cream, B. And crisps, C. Soup and bread, D. And syrup. Answers is A. Scones, jam and cream. Afternoon tea is a light meal, typically served between 3:30 p.m. and 5:00 p.m., often including cakes and scones with jam and clotted cream. Question 37. What is the main role of the police in the A. To uphold the law and prevent crime, B. To collect taxes, C. To run public services, D. To make new laws? Answers is A. To uphold the law and prevent crime. The police service in the is responsible for maintaining law and order, preventing crime and investigating criminal offences. Question 38. What is jury service and who is eligible for it? A. A civic duty for eligible citizens to decide court cases. B. A voluntary role in local government. C. A job for trained legal professionals. D. A requirement for all adults to vote. Answers is A civic duty for eligible citizens to decide court cases. Jury service is a civic duty, where randomly selected eligible citizens attend court to hear evidence and make a decision on a case. Question 39. Which public service is funded by taxation and national insurance contributions? A. The National Health Service. B. Private hospitals. C. Charitable organizations. D. Commercial businesses. Answers is A. The National Health Service. This is primarily funded through general taxation and national insurance contributions, providing healthcare free at the point of use. Question 40. What is a basic legal right for all individuals in the A. The right to a fair trial. B. The right to own a firearm. C. The right to avoid paying taxes. D. The right to ignore parking fines. Answers is A. The right to a fair trial. Everyone in thee has the right to a fair trial, protected by law and the justice system. Question 41. Which Roman emperor ordered the invasion of Britain in AD 43? A. Claudius. B. Julius Caesar. C. Hadrian. D. Nero. Answers is A. Claudius. Emperor Claudius ordered the full-scale invasion of Britain in AD 43, leading to Roman rule over much of the island. Question 42. What was the name of the Viking kingdom established in eastern England? A. Danelaw. B. Wessex. C. Mercia. D. Northumbria. Answers is A. Danelaw. The Danelaw was a historical name given to the part of England where the laws of the Danes held sway during the late and. Question 43. Who was the last Anglo-Saxon king of England defeated in 1066? A. Harold. B. Alfred the Great. C. Edward the Confessor. D. Canute. Answers is A. Harold. Harold was defeated and killed by William the Conqueror at the Battle of Hastings in 1066. Question 44. Which medieval conflict involved England and France lasting over a century? A. The 100 Years' War. B. The War of the Roses. C. The Crusades. D. The English Civil War. Answers is A. The 100 Years' War. The 100 Years' War was a series of conflicts waged from 1337 to 1453 between the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of France. Question 45. Who invented the printing press, revolutionizing the spread of knowledge? A. B. William. C. Isaac Newton. D. Galileo. Answers is A. Invented the printing press in the century, though William introduced it to England. Question 46. Which Queen Catholicism to England after Edward reign? A. Mary I. B. Elizabeth I. C. Mary Queen of Scots. D. Victoria. Answers is A. Mary I. Mary I, also known as Bloody Mary, was a devout Catholic and sought to reverse the English Reformation, persecuting Protestants. Question 47. What was the name of the period in the century when England was a republic without a monarch? A. The Commonwealth, B. The Restoration, C. The Interregnum, D. The Regency. Answers is A. The Commonwealth. After the execution of Charles I, England was a republic known as the Commonwealth from 1649 to 1660, under Oliver. Question 48. Who wrote Paradise Lost, an epic poem published after the English Civil War? A. John Milton, B. C. William D. Lord. Answers is A. John Milton. John Milton, a prominent English poet, wrote Paradise Lost, which is considered one of the greatest works of English literature. Question 49. Which movement championed scientific reasoning and individual liberty in the century? A. The Enlightenment, B. The Reformation, C. The Renaissance, D. The Romantic movement. Answers is A. The Enlightenment. The Enlightenment was an intellectual and philosophical movement that the world of ideas in Europe during the century. Question 50. Who was the British admiral who died at the Battle of in 1805? A. Admiral Lord Nelson, B. Sir Francis Drake, C. Captain Cook, D. Lord. Answers is A. Admiral Lord Nelson. Admiral Lord Nelson led the British fleet to victory against Napoleon's navy at the Battle of, but was fatally wounded during the battle. Question 51. When did women in the gain the right to vote on the same terms as men? A. 1928, B. 1918, C. 1900, D. 1945. Answers is A. 1928. In 1918, some women over 30 were granted the vote, but it was not until 1928 that all women over 21 could vote on the same terms as men. Question 52. What was the purpose of the report in 1942? A. To propose a system of social welfare, B. To plan for wartime economic production, C. To outline military strategy, D. To document wartime. Answers is A. To propose a system of social welfare. The report laid the groundwork for the modern British welfare state, including the creation of the National Health Service. Question 53. What is the role of the king in the government today? A. Head of state, symbolic role, B. Head of government, makes laws, C. Leads armed forces actively, D. Chief Justice, oversees legal system. Answers is A. Head of state, symbolic role. The king is the head of state and performs important ceremonial and symbolic, while the Prime Minister is the head of government. Question 54. Who appoints the Prime Minister in the A. The monarch, B. The Speaker of the House of Commons, C. The House of Lords, D. Direct public vote. Answers is A. The monarch. The monarch appoints the Prime Minister, who is typically the leader of the political party that wins the most seats in a general election. Question 55. What is the main function of the House of Lords? A. To scrutinize and revise legislation, B. To introduce all new laws, C. To elect the Prime Minister, D. To directly represent. Answers is A. To scrutinize and revise legislation. The House of Lords primarily acts as a revising chamber, scrutinizing legislation passed by the House of Commons and offering amendments. Question 56. Which city is the seat of the Welsh Senedd Parliament? A. Cardiff, B. Swansea, C. Newport, D. Answers is A. Cardiff. Cardiff is the capital city of Wales and home to the Senedd, the devolved Welsh Parliament. Question 57. What is the purpose of a general election in the A. To elect members of Parliament, B. To elect local councillors, C. To elect the monarch, D. To choose a new Prime Minister directly? Answers is A. To elect members of Parliament. General elections are held to elect to the House of Commons, who then form the government. Question 58. What is the longest river in the A. River Severn, B. River Thames, C. River Trent, D. River Clyde? Answers is A. River Severn. The River Severn, at 220 miles 354 long, is the longest river in the flowing through Wales and England. Question 59. Which country is home to the Giant's Causeway? A. Northern Ireland, B. Scotland, C. England, D. Wales. Answers is A. Northern Ireland. The Giant's Causeway, a UNESCO World Heritage Site with unique basalt columns, is on the coast of County Antrim in Northern Ireland. Question 60. What is the highest mountain in Scotland and the A. Ben Nevis, B. Mount Snowdon, C. Pike, D. Answers is A. Ben Nevis. Ben Nevis in the Scottish Highlands is the highest mountain in Scotland and the entire United Kingdom. Question 61. Which famous lake is associated with a mythical monster? A. Loch Ness, B. Lake Windermere, C. Loch D. Answers is A. Loch Ness. Loch Ness, a large loch in the Scottish Highlands, is famously associated with the legend of the Loch Ness Monster. Question 62. Which British institution is famous for hosting the annual Wimbledon Tennis Championships? A. All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, B. Lord's Cricket Ground, C. Stadium, D. Stadium. Answers is A. All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. The All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club in Wimbledon, London, is the venue for the prestigious Wimbledon Championships. Question 63. Who is considered a pioneer of modern nursing and is known for her work during the Crimean War? A. Florence Nightingale, B. Mary, C. D. Elizabeth. Answers is A. Florence Nightingale. Florence Nightingale, known as the Lady with the Lamp, established modern nursing practices and greatly improved sanitation in hospitals. Question 64. What is a traditional British dance form often performed with bells and handkerchiefs? A. Dancing, B. Highland dancing, C. Maypole dancing, D. Tap dancing. Answers is A. Dancing. Dancing is a traditional English folk dance usually accompanied by music, often involving sticks, swords, or handkerchiefs. Question 65. Which famous Scottish poet wrote Old Sign and Tam O? A. Robert Burns, B. Sir Walter Scott, C. Robert Louis, D. Lord. Answers is A. Robert Burns. Robert Burns is Scotland's national poet, and his works are celebrated worldwide, particularly Old Sign on New Year's Eve. Question 66. What is the common term for the period of quiet reflection and remembrance on the Sunday closest to 11 November? A. Remembrance Sunday, B. Armistice Day, C. Veterans Day, D. Poppy Day. Answers is A. Remembrance Sunday. Remembrance Sunday is observed to commemorate the contribution of British and Commonwealth military and civilian and women in the 2 world wars and later conflicts. Question 67. Which of these is A. Civic duty expected of residents? A. Paying taxes, B. Volunteering for charity, C. Attending local council meetings, D. Supporting a political party. Answers is A. Paying taxes. Paying taxes is a legal obligation for all eligible residents and citizens in the funding public services. Question 68. What is the minimum age for serving on a jury in England, Wales and Northern Ireland? A. 18, B. 16, C. 21, D. 25. Answers is A. 18. To be eligible for jury service in England, Wales and Northern Ireland, you must be between 18 and 75 years old. Question 69. What is the purpose of the driving licence? A. To permit an individual to drive on public roads, B. To act as proof of citizenship, C. To allow access to public transport, D. To register for local elections. Answers is A. To permit an individual to drive on public roads. A driving licence allows an individual who has passed the required tests to legally drive certain vehicles on public roads. Question 70. What must all children in the do between the ages of 5 and 16? A. Attend school, B. Learn to drive, C. Get a job, D. Register to vote. Answers is A. Attend school. Education is compulsory for children from the age of 5 until they are 16. Question 71. Who invaded England in 1066? A. William the Conqueror, B. Alfred the Great, C. Julius Caesar, D. Canute. Answers is A. William the Conqueror. William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, led the Norman conquest of England in 1066. Question 72. Which queen was in 1587 for plotting against Elizabeth I? A. Mary Queen of Scots, B. Mary I. C. Anne, D. Lady Jane Grey. Answers is A. Mary Queen of Scots. Mary, Queen of Scots, a Catholic claimant to the English throne, was for her alleged involvement in plots against Queen Elizabeth I. Question 73. What was the name of the movement that challenged the authority of the Pope in the century? A. The Reformation, B. The Renaissance, C. The Enlightenment, D. The Great Awakening. Answers is A. The Reformation. The Reformation was a major movement in Western Christianity that posed a religious and political challenge to the Catholic Church? Question 74. During the reign of which Scottish king did England and Scotland unite to form Great Britain? A. Queen Anne, B. James I, C. William, D. George I. Answers is A. Queen Anne. The Acts of Union in 1707, during Queen Anne's reign, united the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of Scotland into a single Kingdom of Great Britain. Question 75. What invention by Richard was crucial for the textile industry during the Industrial Revolution? A. The water frame, B. The spinning jenny, C. The power loom, D. The cotton gin. Answers is A. The water frame. Richard Water Frame, patented in 1769, used water power to produce stronger threads for the textile industry. Question 76. Who was the British general who defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo? A. Duke of Wellington, B. Lord Nelson, C. Robert Clive, D. James. Answers is A. Duke of Wellington. The Duke of Wellington commanded the Allied forces that defeated Napoleon Bonaparte at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Question 77. What was the name of the British Empire at its largest extent? A. The British Empire, B. The Commonwealth Realm, C. Greater Britain, D. The United Kingdom overseas. Answers is A. The British Empire. At its height in the early century, the British Empire was the largest empire in history, covering a quarter of the world's land area. Question 78. Which major event led to the withdrawal from the European Union? A. The Brexit referendum, B. The 2008 financial crisis, C. The formation of the D. The creation of the euro. Answers is A. The Brexit referendum. Following a referendum in 2016 that to leave the European Union, a process commonly referred to as Brexit. Question 79. What is the official residence of the Prime Minister? A. 10 Downing Street, B. Palace, C. Windsor Castle, D. Houses of Parliament. Answers is A. 10 Downing Street. 10 Downing Street in London is the official residence and workplace of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Question 80. How many members are there in the House of Commons? A. 650, B. 500, C. 750, D. 800. Answers is A. 650. The House of Commons currently has 650 members of Parliament, each representing a constituency. Question 81. What is the capital city of Northern Ireland? A. Belfast, B. Dublin, C. Cork, D. Galway. Answers is A. Belfast. Belfast is the capital and largest city of Northern Ireland, on the River Lagan. Question 82. Which famous Scottish landmark is an active volcano? A. None of these, B. Edinburgh Castle, C. Arthur Seat, D. Ben Nevis. Answers is A. None of these. While Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh is an extinct volcano, there are no active volcanoes in Scotland so none of these is the correct answer regarding an active volcano. Question 83. What is the name of the patron saint of England? A. George, B. Andrew, C. David, D. Answers is A. George. George is the patron saint of England, and his feast day is celebrated on 23 April. Question 84. Which British scientist developed the theory of evolution by natural selection? A. Charles, B. Isaac Newton, C. Stephen Hawking, D. Alexander Fleming. Answers is A. Charles. Charles' book on the origin of species 1859 introduced his theory of evolution, profoundly influencing biology. Question 85. What is the national flower? A. Rose, B. Thistle, C. Daffodil, D. Shamrock. Answers is A. Rose. While each country has its own emblem e.g., thistle for Scotland, daffodil for Wales, the rose is widely recognised as the national flower of England and often used to represent the. Question 86. What is the purpose of the Royal Ascot Horse Race Meeting? A. A major horse racing event and social occasion, B. A contest for farming skills, C. A traditional harvest festival, D. A military parade. Answers is A. A major horse racing event and social occasion. Royal Ascot is a famous horse racing event in June, known for its high fashion and attendance by the royal family. Question 87. What is the common term for the formal ceremony where the monarch opens Parliament each year? A. State opening of Parliament, B. Queen's speech, C. Parliamentary address, D. Royal proclamation. Answers is A. State opening of Parliament. The State opening of Parliament is a major ceremonial event that marks the formal start of the parliamentary year, during which the monarch reads the King's speech. Question 88. What is the common age range for individuals to be part of the workforce? A. 16 to official retirement age, B. 18 to 65, C. 16 to 70, D. 21 to 60. Answers is A. 16 to official retirement age. Typically enter the workforce after compulsory education at age 16 and remain until they reach the official state retirement age. Question 89. What is the name of the collective body of senior government ministers in the A. The Cabinet, B. The Parliament, C. The Privy Council, D. The Monarchy? Answers is A. The Cabinet. The Cabinet is a committee of senior ministers, chaired by the Prime Minister, which makes major decisions on government policy. Question 90. What is the primary role of the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom? A. To be the final court of appeal, B. To create new laws, C. To prosecute criminals, D. To advise the monarch. Answers is A. To be the final court of appeal. The Supreme Court is the final court of appeal for civil cases, and for criminal cases from England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Question 91. Which Roman city in Britain was known for its baths? A. Bath, B. London, C. York, D. Answers is A. Bath. The city of Bath, originally known as by the Romans, is famous for its baths. Question 92. What significant Anglo-Saxon epic poem tells the story of a hero battling monsters? A. Beowulf. B. The Canterbury Tales. C. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. D. Answers is A. Beowulf. Beowulf is an Old English epic poem set in Scandinavia, commonly as one of the most important works of Old English literature. Question 93. During which period did the Black Death devastate Europe, including Britain? A. The Middle Ages. B. The Roman era. C. The Tudor era. D. The Victorian era. Answers is A. The Middle Ages. The Black Death, a bubonic plague pandemic, reached Britain in 1348, killing a significant portion of the population during the Middle Ages. Question 94. Who was the founder of the Tudor dynasty? A. Henry. B. Henry. C. Elizabeth. I. D. Edward. Answers is A. Henry. Henry Tudor became King Henry after his victory at the Battle of Field in 1485, ending the Wars of the Roses and establishing the Tudor dynasty. Question 95. Which monarch was during the English Civil War? A. Charles. I. B. James. C. Henry. D. Richard. Answers is A. Charles I. King Charles I was for treason in 1649, following his defeat in the English Civil War, leading to the Commonwealth period. Question 96. What was the name of the movement that sought to abolish slavery in the British Empire? A. Abolitionist movement. B. Chartist movement. C. Suffragette movement. D. Reform movement. Answers is A. Abolitionist movement. The abolitionist movement, led by figures like William, campaigned for the end of the slave trade and slavery itself, which was abolished in the British Empire in 1833. Question 97. When did the join the European Economic Community, a precursor to the A. 1973, B. 1957, C. 1985, D. 1993. Answers is A. 1973. They joined the European Economic Community in 1973, alongside Ireland and Denmark. Question 98. What is the primary role of the monarch in relation to the Church of England? A. Supreme Governor. B. Head Priest. C. Chief Theologian. D. Spiritual Advisor. Answers is A. Supreme Governor. The monarch holds the title of Supreme Governor of the Church of England, a largely symbolic role established by Henry. Question 99. How often is a general election typically held in the A. Every 5 years. B. Every 4 years. C. Every 2 years. D. Every 6 years. Answers is A. Every 5 years. General elections are normally held every 5 years, though they can occur sooner under certain circumstances. Question 100. What is the purpose of local councils in the A. To provide local public services, B. To manage national defence, C. To set national tax rates, D. To conduct international diplomacy? Answers is A. To provide local public services. Local councils are responsible for delivering a wide range of local public services, such as education, waste collection, and housing. Question 101. Which channel separates England from France? A. The English Channel, B. The North Sea, C. The Irish Sea, D. The Celtic Sea. Answers is A. The English Channel. The English Channel is the arm of the Atlantic Ocean that separates southern England from northern France and connects to the North Sea by the Strait of Dover. Question 102. What is the traditional symbol of Wales? A. Daffodil or leek, B. Rose, C. Thistle, D. Shamrock. Answers is A. Daffodil or leek. Both the daffodil and the leek are traditional national symbols of Wales, associated with David's Day. Question 103. Which city is home to the Globe Theatre, associated with William Shakespeare? A. London, B. C. Edinburgh, D. Manchester. Answers is A. London. Shakespeare's Globe is a reconstruction of the Globe Theatre, an Elizabethan playhouse on the south bank of the River Thames in London. Question 104. Which British band the album Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band? A. The Beatles, B. The Rolling Stones, C. Queen, D. Led Zeppelin. Answers is A. The Beatles. The Beatles from Liverpool are one of the most influential bands of all time, and Pepper's is one of their most iconic albums. Question 105. What is the traditional Scottish dish made from sheep's offal, oatmeal and spices? A. Haggis, B. Black pudding, C. Scotch broth, D. Cullen skink. Answers is A. Haggis. Haggis is a savoury pudding containing sheep's pluck heart, liver and lungs, minced with onion, oatmeal, suet, spices and salt, traditionally in the animal's stomach. Question 106. What is the common name for the British flag? A. Union flag or Union Jack, B. Royal Standard, C. Cross of George, D. Tricolour. Answers is A. Union flag or Union Jack. The national flag of the United Kingdom is the Union flag, also known as the Union Jack. Question 107. Which important principle states that no one is above the law? A. Rule of law, B. Divine right, C. Parliamentary sovereignty, D. Separation of powers. Answers is A. Rule of law. The rule of law is a fundamental principle of the Constitution, meaning that all individuals and institutions are subject to and accountable under the law. Question 108. What is the official language of the courts in England and Wales? A. English, B. Welsh, C. Latin, D. French. Answers is A. English. English is the official language of the courts in England and Wales. While Welsh can be used in Wales, English is also official there. Question 109. What is the role of citizens regarding public services? A. To use them responsibly, B. To avoid using them, C. To pay extra fees for them, D. To manage them directly. Answers is A. To use them responsibly. have a responsibility to use public services, like the and schools, responsibly and not misuse them. Question 110. Which legendary figure is associated with Camelot and the Knights of the Round Table? A. King Arthur, B. Robin Hood, C. King Canute, D. The Wake. Answers is A. King Arthur. King Arthur is a legendary British leader who, according to medieval and romances, led the defence of Britain against Anglo-Saxon invaders in the late and early. Question 111. What significant event occurred in England in 1605 involving Guy? A. The Gunpowder Plot, B. The Great Fire of London, C. The Black Death, D. The English Civil War. Answers is A. The Gunpowder Plot. The Gunpowder Plot was a failed assassination attempt against King James I by a group of English Catholics, including Guy, in 1605. Question 112. Which British explorer charted the coast of Australia and New Zealand? A. Captain James Cook, B. Sir Francis Drake, C. Sir Walter Raleigh, D. David. Answers is A. Captain James Cook. Captain James Cook, a British explorer, made detailed maps of Newfoundland prior to making 3 voyages into the Pacific Ocean. Question 113. What was the main outcome of the Battle of Britain during World War? A. Germany's air superiority was, B. Britain invaded Germany, C. They joined the war, D. The Soviet Union entered the war. Answers is A. Germany's air superiority was. The Battle of Britain was a pivotal air campaign fought in the summer and autumn of 1940, where the Royal Air Force successfully defended there against German air attacks, preventing a planned invasion. Question 114. What is the function of the Security Council in the United Nations, on which the holds a permanent seat? A. To maintain international peace and security, B. To manage global trade agreements, C. To oversee environmental, D. To promote cultural exchange. Answers is A. To maintain international peace and security. The United Nations Security Council has primary responsibility for maintaining international peace and security, and is one of its 5 permanent members. Question 115. Which building serves as the official London residence of the King? A. Palace, B. Windsor Castle, C. D. Clarence House. Answers is A. Palace. Palace is the administrative headquarters of the monarch and his official London residence. Question 116. How many make up the United Kingdom? A. 4, B. 3, C. 2, D. 5. Answers is A. 4. The United Kingdom is made up of 4, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Question 117. Which major sporting event involves rowing teams from Oxford and Cambridge? A. The boat race, B. The Grand National, C. The Far Cup Final, D. The Ashes. Answers is A. The boat race. The boat race is an annual rowing race between the Oxford University Boat Club and the Cambridge University Boat Club cruise on the River Thames. Question 118. Who is a famous children's author known for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? A. Dahl, B. J. K. C. C. S. Lewis, D. Beatrix Potter. Answers is A. Dahl. Dahl was a British novelist, short story writer, poet and screenwriter, whose books have sold more than 250 million worldwide. Question 119. What is the traditional gift for Valentine's Day? A. Cards, flowers and chocolates. B. Eggs and C. Spooky costumes. D. Presents and carols. Answers is A. Cards, flowers and chocolates. Valentine's Day, celebrated on 14 February, is traditionally associated with giving cards, flowers and chocolates to loved ones. Question 120. What is the basic right of freedom of expression in the A. To express opinions within the law, B. To say anything without consequences, C. To criticize government officials publicly, D. To publish any information without censorship? Answers is A. To express opinions within the law. Freedom of expression is a fundamental right, but it is not absolute and is subject to certain restrictions, such as laws against hate speech or incitement to violence. Question 121. Who was the Roman general who first invaded Britain in 55? A. Julius Caesar, B. Claudius, C. Hadrian, D. Answers is A. Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar led 2 Roman expeditions to Britain in 55 and 54, though a full conquest wouldn't happen for another century. Question 122. What was the main purpose of the Domesday Book, commissioned by William the Conqueror? A. To survey land and resources for taxation. B. To record military achievements. C. To list all noble. D. To document church teachings. Answers is A. To survey land and resources for taxation. The Domesday Book was a comprehensive record of the land and wealth of England and parts of Wales, compiled in 1086, to assess taxes and feudal. Question 123. Which conflict ended the Plantagenet dynasty and brought the Tudors to power? A. The Wars of the Roses. B. The 100 Years' War. C. The Revolt. D. The English Civil War. Answers is A. The Wars of the Roses. The Wars of the Roses were a series of civil wars fought over the throne of England between the houses of Lancaster and York, ultimately leading to the Tudor dynasty. Question 124. Who was the monarch during the Victorian era? A. Queen Victoria. B. Queen Elizabeth I. C. Queen Anne. D. Queen Elizabeth. Answers is A. Queen Victoria. The Victorian era, named after Queen Victoria's reign from 1837 to 1901, was a period of significant social, economic, and technological change. Question 125. Which major event occurred on 7 July 2005 in London? A. Terrorist bombings. B. The London Olympics opening ceremony. C. A major royal wedding. D. A widespread power cut. Answers is A. Terrorist bombings. On 7 July 2005, a series of coordinated terrorist bombings struck London's public transport system, killing 52 innocent people. Question 126. What is the collective name for the 4 nations of the A. United Kingdom, B. Great Britain, C. British, D. British Commonwealth. Answers is A. United Kingdom. The four nations are England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, which together form the United Kingdom. Question 127. Which Scottish city is famous for its annual Fringe Festival? A. Edinburgh, B. Glasgow, C. Aberdeen, D. Stirling. Answers is A. Edinburgh. The Edinburgh Fringe Festival is the world's largest arts festival, taking place every August in Scotland's capital city. Question 128. Who wrote A Christmas Carol? A. Charles Dickens, B. William Shakespeare, C. Jane D. Austen. Answers is A. Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens is one of England's most celebrated novelists, and A Christmas Carol is one of his most beloved works. Question 129. What is Boxing Day, traditionally observed on 26 December? A public holiday for giving gifts to service staff. B. The start of the Christmas season. C. A day for fasting and prayer. D. A celebration of winter solstice. Answers is A public holiday for giving gifts to service staff. Boxing Day is a public holiday in the, traditionally a day when employers gave gifts to their employees, particularly those who provided service. Question 130. What is an important responsibility when using the internet in the A. To be responsible and not break the law. B. To share personal information freely. C. To believe everything read online. D. To download content without permission. Answers is A. To be responsible and not break the law. Using the internet responsibly means abiding by laws concerning defamation, harassment, copyright and privacy, among others. Question 131. Which Roman road connected London and Chester? A. Street, B. Fossway, C. Ermine Street, D. Street. Answers is A. Street. Street was an ancient trackway in England and Wales, originally used by the Britons, which was subsequently paved by the Romans. Question 132. Who was the English king known for his role in the Crusades and absence from England? A. Richard I the Lionheart, B. Henry, C. King John, D. Edward I. Answers is A. Richard I the Lionheart. Richard I, known as Richard the Lionheart, spent very little time in England during his reign, participating in the Third Crusade. Question 133. Which major social movement campaigned for better working conditions and voting rights for working men in the century? A. The Chartist movement, B. The Luddites, C. The Suffragettes, D. The Methodist movement. Answers is A. The Chartist movement. The Chartist movement advocated for political reform, including universal male suffrage, through the People's Charter. Question 134. Who was the British scientist famous for the theory of gravity? A. Sir Isaac Newton, B. Charles, C. Michael Faraday, D. James Clerk Maxwell. Answers is A. Sir Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton, an English physicist and mathematician, is widely recognized for his laws of motion and universal gravitation. Question 135. Which significant change occurred in 1969? A. Voting age to 18. B. Of currency. C. First female prime minister. D. Introduction of the Answers is A. Voting age to 18. The voting age in the was from 21 to 18 by the Representation of the People Act 1969. Question 136. Which historic castle is the principal royal residence in England? A. Windsor Castle. B. Tower of London. C. Edinburgh Castle. D. Castle. Answers is A. Windsor Castle. Windsor Castle is the oldest and largest inhabited castle in the world and has been home to 39 monarchs. It is an official residence of the king. Question 137. Which famous Scottish bridge links Edinburgh to Fife across the Firth of Forth? A. Forth Bridge. B. Tay Road Bridge. C. Bridge. D. Clifton Suspension Bridge. Answers is A. Forth Bridge. The Forth Bridge, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a cantilever railway bridge over the Firth of Forth, connecting Edinburgh to Fife. Question 138. Which British architect designed cathedral? A. Sir Christopher Wren. B. Jones. C. Robert Adam. D. John Nash. Answers is A. Sir Christopher Wren. Sir Christopher Wren rebuilt cathedral after the Great Fire of London in 1666, his masterpiece. Question 139. What is a prominent British New Year's Eve tradition? A. Singing Old Sign. B. Exchanging Easter eggs. C. Lighting bonfires. D. Carving pumpkins. Answers is A. Singing Old Sign. Singing Old Sign is a widespread Scottish tradition, often performed at Hogmanay New Year's Eve in Scotland and around the world. Question 140. What is the common age at which people leave secondary education in the A. 16 or 18. B. 14. C. 15. D. 19. Answers is A. 16 or 18. Compulsory education ends at 16, but many students continue to age 18 to study for or vocational qualifications. Question 141. Which King of Wessex is known for defending against the Vikings and promoting education? A. Alfred the Great. B. Edward the Confessor. C. Athelstan. D. Offa. Answers is A. Alfred the Great. Alfred the Great was King of Wessex from 871 to 899. He successfully defended his kingdom against the Viking attempts at conquest, and by the time of his death had become the dominant ruler in England. Question 142. What was the significance of the invention of the compass in Britain and globally? A. Enabled global navigation and exploration. B. Improved agricultural techniques. C. Led to widespread factory production. D. Revolutionized printing technology. Answers is A. Enabled global navigation and exploration. While not a British invention, the compass was vital for British explorers and traders, enabling voyages and the expansion of the British Empire. Question 143. Which British Prime Minister led the Labour government that founded the A. Clement, B. Harold Wilson, C. Tony Blair, D. James. Answers is A. Clement. Clement, as Prime Minister, oversaw the creation of the National Health Service in 1948, a landmark achievement of his Labour government. Question 144. What is the role of a Member of Parliament? A. To represent their constituency in Parliament. B. To run local government services. C. To serve as head of state. D. To interpret laws in courts. Answers is A. To represent their constituency in Parliament. Are elected by their constituents to represent their interests and concerns in the House of Commons, and to participate in. Question 145. Which body is responsible for regulating financial services in the A. The Financial Conduct Authority, B. The Bank of England, C. Treasury, D. The Competition and Authority. Answers is A. The Financial Conduct Authority. The Financial Conduct Authority is the conduct regulator for nearly 60 financial services firms and financial markets in the. Question 146. What is the capital city of Wales? A. Cardiff, B. Belfast, C. Edinburgh, D. Liverpool. Answers is A. Cardiff. Cardiff Cardydd in Welsh is the capital city and largest city of Wales. Question 147. Which major cultural event is held annually at the Royal Albert Hall? A. The Proms, B. Glastonbury Festival, C. Edinburgh Fringe, D. Hill Carnival. Answers is A. The Proms. The Proms, or the Proms, is a summer series of daily classical music concerts and other events held annually in the Royal Albert Hall in London. Question 148. Which of these is a widely celebrated traditional British custom? A. Guy Night, B. Thanksgiving, C. Mardi Gras, D. Carnival of Venice. Answers is A. Guy Night. Guy Night, or Bonfire Night, on 5 November, commemorates the failed gunpowder plot of 1605 with bonfires and fireworks. Question 149. What is one of the ways citizens can influence government decisions? A. Voting in elections, B. Attending private royal events, C. Directly appointing government ministers, D. Ignoring official communications. Answers is A. Voting in elections. Voting in general elections and local elections is a primary way citizens can influence who represents them and forms the government, thereby affecting policy decisions. Question 150. What is the name of the Legislative Assembly in Northern Ireland? A. The Northern Ireland Assembly, B. The Parliament, D. The Ulster Parliament. Answers is A. The Northern Ireland Assembly. The Northern Ireland Assembly, often referred to as, its location is the devolved legislature of Northern Ireland, responsible for making laws on transferred matters.